When we begin to look at the Mandinka, we have already ascertained that the Mandinkan DNA is found in 525 AD in Europe, fighting against the Byzantine Empire alongside the Mendi and Yoruba DNA. When we begin to look at the Mandinka, they are present in great numbers from 1200 to 1500 under the Mansa Musa, the Solomonic Dynasty. It's essential to know that the Mandinkan last names of Diola and Jola and Jala were also found as Ilodia in Europe in the 1200s to 1400s, making the Solomonic dynasty in Europe and in West Africa at the same time. The Mandinka would be called Qayal in Arabic, and this means a saying or statement. When we begin to look at the Hebrew definition of a saying, this is going to be Imrah, Imrah. When we begin to look at the root, this is Emir, Emer. The root of that is going to be Amar, Amar, which is going to give us the root of Ameru Khan, Amar. So when we begin to look at the Hebrew word for Mandinkan, it is going to be Amar. When we begin to also look at another word for the Mandinkan in Yoruba, and we know that the Yoruba are called Benai Ephraim, who are the sons of Ephraim, or Benai Ephraim. When we look at Ephraim, Ifran, this is going to be a city in Morocco. Ephraim is going to be the same as Ephraim, the northern kingdom. Ephraim, Ifri, is going to be the same root as Apir, as dusty. It's going to be the same root as Epher, which is dusty. It's going to be the same root as Ophir, which is going to be gold, and the name of ancient Peru in Hebrew. So these are your northern kingdom dusty people, the Ephraimites. When we look at the name for the Mandinka in Yoruba, one of the name is Gisere, Gesere. Now we know without a shadow of a doubt that Gezerim is a location in the Negev in Israel, right? When we begin to look at Gezer, this is also going to begin to bring us to a derivation of the word for Caesar. Very important to begin to know this, that this is a derivation of not only Caesar, but also Tazar. And so when we begin to look at this is going to be spelled in China. Gesar, Gesar, is with a Q, Qasar. And Gezer is going to be in modern day Palestine. When we begin to look at Palestine, you'll begin to see the Levites and the tribe of Ephraim in Gezer. The Palestinians have a great amount of paternal E1B1A DNA. This is the same DNA found in the Mandinka, found in African Americans, Amara. When we begin to see that the Mandinkan are also called Par, Paar, in the Seer people. And we know Seir is Mount Seir. So we have to look at these names. We'll begin to see that this is poor. And the poor are the Ebian Knights. The Ebonian kingdom is found in Nigeria on today. The Mandinki are also known as the Jolly in Mandi areas, which is where you begin to get my last name from: Holly, Jolly, Jala, Jolo. And so when you begin to see these names, you will begin to see the Mandinki and the Fulani with these surnames. And this is going to also be Alodia, not only in Europe, but in West Africa. And this is meaning land owner. When we begin to see that the Jolly or the holidays entering into South Carolina will end up being the Gullah Geechee. And when we begin to see them in Persia, they are called the Gaelic, Galik. When we see them in Europe, they are called the Gaelic as well, Gaelic. These are your Mandinkan people going in and founding dynasties. We will also see that in the Wolof, they are called Kevel, Kevel or Kewel. The root of the Kel is going to be the same root as Celtic, which are these Gaelic peoples are called. That root literally means tall. Tall is one of the surnames of these West African people groups. When we begin to see that the Dinka, and we know that the Dinka is the suffix of the Mandinka, they are called tall. That's one of the surnames of these people groups. When we begin to look at Gal in Hebrew, this means tall. This means strong. So this is how we begin to link and line these people up throughout different nations. So we just have ascertained the fact that the Mandinkas, the holidays, went around being Caesars, Tsars, Khazars, and when you begin to find them in Russia, they became the Khazars. And when you begin to bring them over in Ifru or Peru, they were the Incans, who are called the Tsars people. So the Tar, the black warrior hunter kings of ancient Peru, have links to the Mandinkan. And when we begin to see in Mexico in 525 AD, they have the exact same altar that is found over in Israel with the ancient Phoenician Paleo-Hebrew of the Ten Commandments in 525 AD over in Mexico, lining up with the Mandinkan DNA in Europe at that time. So this is Bible history. This is Black history in West Africa, Black history in Europe, Black history in the Americas through my family history and the Bible.